Welcome to Read This. I am your host, Alice James, and today we will be talking to Max Rodriguez, who is the author of Sacred Fire, QBR's 100 Essential Black Books. And he is also the founder of the Harlem Book Fair and QBR's Black Book Review. Welcome, Max.
Hi, Alice. Thanks so much for having me.
Max, you have a fantastic book, Sacred Fire. Before we jump into Sacred Fire, the 100 Essential Black Books, which seems like it's going to be a very informative conversation, I would love for our audience to learn a little bit about Max, the founder of the Harlem Book Fair and the founder of QBR. Can you share a little bit about Max Rodriguez?
Thanks, Alice. I've always been a avid book reader, even as a child. My prized possession was a library card, and every Saturday I would go to the library in Brooklyn to sign out books. To my dismay, there were only 5 books maximum allowed out at a time, and so I would find as many books as I wanted to read. I would sign out 5, and I would hide the others in different places in the library. Uh, I would come back next week looking to find those same books. Every single time they would have been replaced, put back where they belong. I didn't know anything about the librarian's Dewey Decimal System, how they
Mhm.
place books in the stacks, and that just strengthened my admiration for librarians. I would hide a book in this huge building, and lo and behold, they would always find it and put it back to where it's supposed to be. So that's how my love affair with librarians, theoretically, uh, came to be, along with my love of books. Fast forward a number of years, and here I am in New York City. I'm reading, always the reader, reading the New York Times Book
Mhm.
Review, reading the New York Review of Books, turning the pages, turning to the page of contents, the table of contents, looking for books that looked like me first. More times than not, I wouldn't find them. So I began a publication, QBR, the Black Book Review. I began it only because if it had been available, I would have, just subscribed myself. So I began that publication, and it was very successful. People were surprised because they didn't know, people in publishing didn't know who I was, but I was just a reader who wanted books, wanted to know more about books. Little did I know that there was a whole community of readers
Right.
who
That was
wanted to know more about books that look like them. From the book from the book review, we then launched the Harlem Book Fair 25 years ago. The Harlem Book Fair is the most well-known, the most widely recognized African American book fair, not only in the states in America, but also across the globe. Thousands of people come. We have authors and visitors from the UK, Japan, the Caribbean, um, from the Latin American countries. Just everything that speaks to the Black experience globally. That's the
that
Harlem Book Fair.
that's amazing, and congratulations on 25 years. That's no easy feat. A lot of people don't stick with things more than a year, less than 25 years. So that says
Yeah,
a lot about your determination, perseverance, because I'm sure it hasn't always been easy.
it's never easy, but I always say that that books have always been my very first love. Well, no, that's not true. First, my mother. Sorry, ma. Okay. My second love. So you too, Dad. You too. Okay. You got to give props to the ancestors, right?
That's
Okay.
true.
The So my love of books, and like any other relationship, right? It comes with its challenges, but determined by your intention and your passion and your vision of who you are with that thing or with that person. You stay the course, knowing that everything is always moving, changing, growing, and always full of possibility. And here we are.
Yeah, yes, yes. And when it's your passion and your love, quite often it's just a fulfillment. It's
That's right.
Let's just move into Sacred Fire. Can you share with us how that was birthed? Where did
Thank
that
you.
come
It began with a phone call. We were publishing QBR, the Black Book Review, and I received a call from an editor at John Wiley. His name is Chris Jackson. He's currently the senior editor or the executive editor at Random House. But he called back then and said, "Look, there was just a book, a list released in the New York Times of the 100 essential books, books that everyone, seminal books, right? Books that
from?
everyone should read, should know of, that books people will enjoy and find direction from, even." And his lament was that we once again were underrepresented, especially given our history of writing. Toni Morrison, Paul Lawrence Dunbar,
Mhm.
Charles Chestnut, Amiri Baraka, Langston Hughes, James Baldwin.
Right.
A lot of these authors were not represented in that 100 essential list. So he asked, "Would you like to offer a list of 100 essential Black books and tell us about them and why everyone should read them? You know, really why they should be on everyone's shelves, and why they should be passed down as recommended books generation to generation." So we put that book together, and it was quite an undertaking because we had to go through, quite a number of books to decide which books, met the bar. And we came out with 100 pretty good books. They are, by all means, seminal and essential.
You used a term, and I want to kind of jump in on that. Can you share with us a little bit about what was the bar?
What
That
was the bar? Again, what made it seminal? It had to speak to us as a community from the foundational space. It had to help define who we are, not not just how we're projected as being, but really who we see ourselves to be. Um, it had to share our experience in America as Black people uh, in a way that caused you to say yes,
Mm,
that resonated for you, that touched something inside of you. And simply put, that was the bar, and
mhm,
that simply
mm,
is a high bar.
yeah,
There are many books that are published, right? Thousands of books are published
right.
every year, but those books that define us as a culture, those books that have us say, "This is us," those are far and few in between. I think we've captured at least 100 of them, and there are more.
There are more. Ooh, that's a nice tease.
Ah.
Are you trying to hint at something, Max?
Well, I tell you, the book was published in 1999, right? Let's say the year 2000. We've had 25 more years of writing,
Mhm,
and with each generation, our writing becomes stronger, more lucid, um, more touching, more authentic.
mhm, mhm,
Um, every and with each generation, the writing becomes more genuine,
mhm,
more authentic. Uh, so there are books and writers that are not included, obviously, in those first 100 because that was also framed within time, right? Within a time. And now there are new authors. Now there are new stories. Now there are new stories to tell, some of which are told very well.
Mm.
My idea, I think I've shared this with you before. My idea of a good book, and maybe our listeners can align, can relate to this. My idea of a good book is that you have to walk down the street apologizing for bumping to people because you're reading the book. You know,
Yeah,
that's
I have done that. I've lived in New York City and got off the subway with the book looking, oh, sorry, excuse me. And my head goes right back down to the book. So I understand that one.
so yeah, that's fine. And on the train, sitting on the train, reading the book and laughing aloud.
Hmm.
Okay, it's a good book. I love a book that compels me to read it. So yes. So to answer your question, that was the long answer. Short question is, we will revisit Sacred Fire and we will update that list. It's important for us, not only for us to know what books are deemed critical for us, but because it's important that we project that we have a continuity of vision, a continuity of intellectual expression, that we survive, and more than thrive, we contribute to the global humanity. That's part of our contribution from our Black perspective.
I was going to ask you, but I think you answered it in that answer. I was going to ask you, what is the takeaway that you would want people to get from Sacred Fire? But I think you answered the question before I was able to ask it. So thank you for that, that we
Yeah,
contribute to
you're welcome. I will tell you succinctly the takeaway. The takeaway is that we are global, and that we contribute, and that we impact. And the world moves on our breath as much as it moves on everyone's breath.
mm,
We are.
and we matter greatly. Wow, thank you. That was very enlightening. And I like the succinct one, and I liked your first version of your explanation. Um, my
I,
other question,
I don't say I don't think I've lost any of my passion for this.
it doesn't sound like you've lost your passion for this. Matter of fact, you sound very passionate about it. Max, although we're somewhat newly connected, but we seem to have gelled extremely well, and we have many projects that we are working on together. I am so excited to share our collaboration with the Black Authors Hall of Fame, and the fact that Sacred Fire is our resource for putting that list of authors that we're going to be inducting into the Black Authors Hall of Fame. Um, can you share with me how you feel about having this iteration of your book start to manifest?
Yeah, thank you for that question, Alice. Actually, I was hoping that you would ask that without my having to prompt you. So that's good. That's kind of how we work together. So that's good. Thank you. The I tell you what I love about the book. What I love about the book is that we get to speak in the book. We speak in our language,
Mhm.
not just identifying books, but in categorizing the books. We had an option. We can say, okay, let's categorize them under fiction, nonfiction, children's books, poetry, self-help, the genres that we're
Mhm.
given. And they function for us, but they were not our best language.
Okay.
So what we did was we took both fiction and nonfiction and we categorized them under cultural pillars for us. For example, we have a listing of books under origins, ancestors, and memory.
Mm,
Fiction, nonfiction, and poetry, but under that category. Another category, community and identity.
mm,
Another one, politics, nationalism, and revolution. All of the seminal books that fall under these subject matters: soul and spirit, sisters' stories, brothers' lives. So this is what I enjoy most, and the idea that we would launch a Black Authors Hall of Fame, having this book sort of as our beacon, it's a real gift. It's a real gift. It's the gift of the book brought to fruition, you know? And so I'm hoping that when we create our categories for the awards that we'll give out at the next Harlem Book Fair in September, our 25th year anniversary,
right.
that we will give out these awards under similar type categories, not just fiction, nonfiction, children's books. We'll say what they are, but even deeper, will give them meaning for us as a community.
Wow, I really love that. I love how you define that, and I love um, the whole premise behind it, because it's
Thank you.
one thing to adapt someone else's way of doing things, and it's totally different to actually make it your own, you know, make it speak to, because when you say sisters' stories and brothers' lives, that is a community of thinking, that's a community of behavior that we know, and we all, everybody's our sis and everybody's our bro. So that kind of making it uniquely culturally ours, it feels right. You know, it doesn't feel like you're putting on somebody else's mask. It feels like you're wearing your authentic self.
That's right.
So
That's right. It doesn't feel like you're putting on someone else's clothes.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely feels authentically us, you know.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah,
And that's it. And so the book and our work gives us an opportunity to extend our intention of ourselves in the world. And part of that is, how do we use the tool language to as an affirmation tool, as a self-acknowledgement tool. So yes, these books are fiction, nonfiction, poetry, children's books. They are that, but there's so much more. And if I may, we are so much more,
exactly.
and we get to speak in the language we know ourselves to be.
That's really great. And you touched on it, the fact that this September we will be celebrating the Harlem Book Fair 25th anniversary, and the first ever Black Authors Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And I know I am super excited about it, and I'm really excited to be our work that we're doing together. The fact that we're now also reaching out to children so that they can tell their story, and getting them involved in the whole idea that they don't have to wait until adulthood to start being able to articulate and share their stories. And because I know we both had similar ideas, we came to it from different places. Uh, but the unique thing is that we were able to take what we each saw and turn it into one thing. So uh, just share what your thoughts on our path.
I think you've said it all there, Alice. The name of the program is I Tell My Story, and it is a program that's that we are offering for children, um, grades 3 to 5. It begins as a public speaking program because we understand that confidence building and acknowledgement are critical building blocks for the future of us as a community and our individual and our lives.
Mhm.
And so we're going to begin with this program um, that will be hosted either by church communities, churches, or schools as pilot program across the country. The sole purpose is to build confidence, to show acceptance, to share and develop language, both spoken and written language, because the writing is important. The ability to be trusted with uh, uh, in a work setting with someone's mission,
Mhm.
with a company's mission, makes writing very important, speaking very important, the ability to envision important, the practice of creative critical analysis and comparative analysis, all these things that happen in the background while we're telling our stories. So
Mhm.
let's begin that process with our children, and let's build our children today for the future that we envision for ourselves.
I know another portion of that that we've thought about is their ability to be heard, you know?
Mm,
There's just so much noise, and quite often just giving them a space to actually be heard and to tell their story. And then to your point, having someone help them structure that. I believe it's needed. And if we don't take agency over our young people's education and their ability to grow and change, then it's really hard for us to keep looking for others to do what we don't do ourselves. So
that's right. That's right.
I'm so happy to have you on this journey with me.
And you, Alice, it's just important, as you say, that we do this. Just a wonderful program. It's just we're very excited about what it can be and how it can impact. The first 25 years we established the book fair. Now it's time for the work of the book fair to be projected out into the community, not only as a destination event, but also, as you say, an agent, ensuring that, ensuring our wellness, the wellness of our community. It all lives in language.
I love I love that. I love how you express that. That's absolutely perfect. Max, in our closing, would what would you like people to know? What would you like to share?
I would like our viewers to know that that Read This is if there were a video portion of the 100 essential things that we should do, Read This would be one of them uh, because of the heart and intention and vision that sits behind it. The book fair and the work of the book fair has benefited and benefits from our collaboration, Alice, and I look forward to just playing in the space of what is possible in what we can deliver, right, as a team, the all of us as a team, and how well it will serve us as a community. We need foundation. This is part of our foundation.
Well, Max, we shared the first set of collaborations, and I am so excited that you will be a part of Read This as well. So I'm so looking forward to us working together in this space as well as all the other spaces. just from all your experience, all of the things that you've already done. I'm excited for what we're going to do together, the project that we will make Read This. And so I am so happy that you will be hosting Read This alongside me, and we're doing this together.
We will have fun, Alice, and it will be good work.
Yeah,
And I know that it will be well received because it is we have a vision for ourselves as a community. We know who we are, and in that space where it might not be readily given, seen, shown, projected, we know our work. We know what there is to do, and we'll do it.
I'm sure we will. And I would love for everyone, you might not be able to find the hard copy of Sacred Fire, but the Kindle version is definitely available. So pick up a copy and you'll get a heads up on what is coming forth with the Black Authors Hall of Fame and just the work that Max and I, our hearts are putting out there to empower, uplift, and inspire our culture. So for Read This, thank you so much, Max, for being a guest.
Thank
And
you, Alice. Thank you, Alice. And I'd like to extend that opportunity to our viewers too. If you think that there are books that are must reads,
oh yeah,
let us know.
yes, most definitely. Most definitely. We would love to hear from you. Interaction, yes. But thank you for watching Read This. Until next time, I am Alice James. This is Read This, Author's Corner. And don't forget to pick up Sacred Fire by Max Rodriguez.